It is cold. We're here at Louisville, and I'm not seeing the newly named Chloe the cat, unfortunately. That being said, it is I mean, look, all things being relative, but for LA, it is really cold right now. It's probably in the high 40s. So I know that's not cold for whenever the like people who live in places with actual like weather pop in the chat, but for me here in LA, I'm cold, man. So yeah, it's been, as you know, Elijah, it's been very, very rainy. It's been very, very rainy of late. And it wasn't really rainy today except for the morning, but it's very, very cold today for LA standards. So I'm not expecting a whole heck of a lot of cats. And if they are, what's up, Zoe the cat? Ugh! Yeah, this might be a quick visit to the various colonies to see nothing. And then we'll just hit the road for a quick home stream. I don't want to stay on stream for too long once we get home, though, because I want to try and record the... I'm hoping Chloe decides to point out, what up, Nurse Shell? We're back on the grind with the kitty cats. Although, we're here at Louisville, which is where Louisa used to live before I took her off the streets. But, like I said a little bit earlier, it's been very rainy in LA of late, and when it's rainy, and then it's not rainy, but then it's cold, the cats just don't come out. So I don't think we're going to see very many cats today, but we're still going to, check the premises, as it were. But yeah, we're looking like no Chloe the cat today. Okay. Oh no! Here she is, Chloe the cat! Meow! 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 Come on! Where are you going? That's not the safe way to go. Chloe the cat, please exit the street. Please exit the street. Thank you. That's one way to get to where I feed you. Yeah. I know you probably live over there, but I kind of like feeding you over here. It's kind of like an honor to Louisa because you used to live here with Louisa. Speaking of Louisa, I have yet to receive the ashes back yet, but when I do, we will definitely be having our Louisa pour one out for the homie ceremony over here. What's up, Wingsley? Or, sorry, Wingsley, you told me your name. Is it Ellie? Am I correct on that one, or am I wrong? I try to remember people's names when they tell me their names and they're different from their screen names, but I smoked me a lot of weed in my life. My short-term memory loss is lost. Hey, Chloe the cat. And yeah, as y'all can see, if you see the thumbnail image, Charlie is coming out. Is slowly but surely being introduced to the rest of my gang. It's still very touch and go, but look, he's getting comfy. He's getting comfy. I like when my kitties get comfy. Ow. it's cold. I don't think, like I said, there's not going to be a whole lot of socialization going on right now just because the cats are cold and the cats are scared. And when the cats are cold and the cats are scared. But was I correct? Was Ellie actually your name, or did I get it wrong? And also, Wingsley, just to be clear, Zoe the cat is not actually named Zoe. Zoe the cat's name is Zoe. Or Zoe's cat's name is Zoe. You know what I'm saying. But we call him Zoe the cat because he has elected to keep his real name private, and it is not my permission or my right to let the world know somebody's name if they want to keep it anonymous. But yeah, we're gonna leave Chloe the cat right now, but I'm glad she came out. Let's check if all Stavo the raccoon is there and over there. And also, let's remember when we're over there for me to turn my frickin' car off and take the key with me. Because otherwise we're dumb. In other news, y'all, speaking of my car's did a weirdo yesterday. Let me tell you all about that while we're taking our quick shuttle to Stavo's locale. And that's that yesterday, being Tuesday, I went, I had to turn my lights on. I went and visited my parents, and because it was raining quite heavily, and apparently my forward headlamp on my passenger side, the right side headlamp. I love how I said forward headlamp as if there was a tail headlamp. But you know, regardless of that, and my occasional inability to speak the English language. All right, sounds good, Wingsley Ellie. we'll have to vacillate between the two. But yeah, so for whatever reason, the seals on my headlamp on the passenger side are not working right now. So like I left, not yet, Elijah, working on it. My dad is giving serious pushback because my dad is giving me the whole BS about, oh, we don't want to adopt another cat. Like, my dude, you need to adopt another cat because your cat is becoming a bit of an asshole because he's lonely and bored. But yeah, working on it. And like, I mean, you've seen Elijah. He is such a temperament match for Ozzy for Monty, my parents' cat, because he's just so calm, and that's what Monty needs, because Monty's a little bit like high-strung right now, and I think it's because his anxiety is going through the roof because he's not, hello kitties, because he's just not having enough stimulation as is. Whee! Oh, come on, make it. There we go. Opa. Yeah, exactly, Elijah. That's why, because he's so chill, and like, we need a chill cat for Monty, because like, I loved Ozzy, and I don't miss him as much as some other cats that I miss, but like, because it was great to see him go to his forever home, but like, by the same token, and I know my mom really liked Ozzy because he was really nice. But, like, he would not have been a temperament match for their cat because he was just too excitable. Also, keys in possession this time. And that beep was my car locking. All right, lots of cats out tonight. Lots of cats out here tonight, but they also seem like they've been fed. Hello, gray kitty. Hello, void kitty. Hello, calico kitty. Tuxedo kitty, and tabby and white kitty. Oh my God, so many kitties today. They are out and about. Also, a side effect of living in LA and it rains, their drainage is shit. All right. Guys, yeah, that's, you know, and I don't, you know, I've always said for years that the best toy you can get for your cat is another cat, you know? Like, one of the reasons I'm able to, like, leave my cats for hours at a time and not worry about it is that, like, I have a multi-cat household. They entertain each other. Yeah, I love all the kitty cats. I'm here I'm here for the gray cats, the smoke cats, the voids, the torties, the one orange brain cell cats. I'm here for all the cats. You know, try and help as many as we can. All right, speaking of helping as many as we can, let me go grab my food, and I'll be right back. Ow, 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 No, kitty! Don't cross the street, kitty! Come eat, kitty! That's like crossing the street. It rhymes with crossing the street, but it's not crossing the street. It's the opposite of crossing the street. It's coming to eat. Remember, don't cross the street. Have a bite to eat. Maybe even a little kitty treat. That's a beautiful tabby and white cat. Hey, gray cat. I gotta learn all y'all's personalities so we can give y'all names. So many unnamed kitties. Look at Kitty on the water regular. What's up, Gina? My God, this dude is a character. George of the Jungle right there. All right, we roll. I'm gonna start with 4 cans today, I think. Let's see how they do. All right. Who's gonna be the brave kitty and come forward and eat first? Who's gonna be the brave kitty? Who's gonna be the brave kitty? I'm a searching for the brave kitty, yay, yay. I'm a searching. Oh yeah, I'm searching for the brave kitty, yeah, yeah. Anyway. All right, kitties, I'm going to get a spoon, bone apple tea. Bye, Void. Kind of neither big V nor little V, kind of medium V. Oopa. What's up, Rockstar? What's up, Rockstar? What's up? Is Mel not here? What's up, Faithless? Still going to the main colony soon. I'm not expecting to see very many cats there, though. Look how... But Faithless... I didn't see Mel and I, but okay. Maybe it was Rockstar. But yeah, look at this. Look how many cats there are today. These two smaller gray kitties are over here eating off whatever this is. Here, let me step back so I can zoom in a bit. Yeah. We got the two small gray kitties chilling, eating there. That's not the food I dropped off for them, by the way. And then we got the other gray kitty and this tabby cat and this mostly black tuxedo cat chilling over there. And then we got Void over here, medium V. Not actually his name, but he is kind of a medium V. And then, of course, I don't know where they went, but when I first got over here, there were so many more kitties in this parking lot. Just insane amounts of kitties at this colony. Nope, car in the way with his high beams on. You can turn your brights on at any. You can turn your brights off at any point, Camry. Like, it won't hurt you, and it will help the rest of us who are trying not to get wicked after image in our eye parts. Just saying. What's up, Julian? All right. Train time. All right, everybody who's a traintist, get your traintism ready. Prepare to be stimming. I hope it's a freight train. It won't be a freight train, but freight trains are more fun. Objectively, they go slower and they take forever to get out your way. But I can hear it. It's not a freight train. It's either Amtrak or Metrolink. But yeah, all the traintists, please prepare to be stimming. I feel like I might be smoking a pack though. I heard a train horn, but I'm not hearing the gates going down. Now I am. You see, don't make me a liar, train. Yeah, at some point when we finish the pretty plane bracket, we're gonna have to do the pretty train bracket. But the next, okay, all right, everyone, start foaming, start stimming, let's go. What is it? Amtrak, Metrolink, freight train? I'm guessing Metrolink. Choo-choo! It's Metrolink! Metrolink is the LA area's version of commuter rail. So if you live in the New York City area and you're familiar with Metro North or the Long Island Railroad, Metrolink is our version of that, except it's not as good, but it's also not bad. I've taken Metrolink many a time. Yeah, it's commuter rail is as commuter rail does. Bro, turn your high beams off. I'm telling you, it's an epidemic of people driving with their brights on, and I blame Tesla and General Motors SUVs for making their normal lights too damn bright. Like, I love being in front of a Cadillac SUV. With no high beams, just normal lights on, and just getting my eyes blown the fuck out. I mean, here's the thing, Wingsley, it's a perfectly decent train. For you super train stimmers, though, one thing I did notice is that was rocking a very old prime mover. Most Metrolink trains at this point, I believe, use Siemens Charger locomotives, but that looked like it was rocking an old EMD freight locomotive or GE freight locomotive. I'd have to check Metrolink's current rolling stock, but yeah, its prime mover was a freight locomotive, which is, you still see them from time to time. They're from the first batch of Metrolink trains. You don't see them pulling revenue service that much these days. But yeah, I think it's an EMD FP40 for you super traintists, but I cannot confirm that, so I'm not going to state that with any authority. Yeah, but that being said, so here's my plan for the pretty plane bracket. Once we get up to 64 planes, I'm gonna set up like a March Madness style plane bracket, and we'll have a live stream from home where we basically, you know, like I said, we'll have a March Madness style bracket of pretty planes, where we will eventually crown the prettiest plane ever by our subreddit, or not subreddit, by our Discord server. I suspect the Concorde might win because, I mean, what's not to love? But we'll see. After that, just for something not mechanical so that the non-engineering nerds can take part, I think we're going to, I've been thinking about this. I want to do an elimination bracket for best band logo. Just random stuff, but like, you know, see who's got the best band logo ever. I can think of some strong competitors right off the top of my head. Crass is coming to mind immediately. Also, the Ramones logo, classic. AC/DC logo. Eddie from Iron Maiden. Yeah, my kryptonite is people's bright lights and people going slow in the left lane. What's up, Bear? We outside. All right, let's head over to see if Gino is there, and also see if anybody's at the main colony. I don't think anybody's going to be at the main colony, but best album cover? That's an option, but that's going to have to be way more than 64. 64 things, because there are so many album covers. All right. But it's definitely a possibility. Oopa. But yeah, kitties seem to be doing okay. Yeah, and I mean, literally, I've read multiple articles talking about how, no, it's not just you. The lights on cars actually are getting ridiculously brighter. And it's just, oh, it's so frustrating. But yeah, that's why I chose band logos instead of album covers, because like, you could make a 64 seed bracket of like notable band logos, like some of the ones I already listed, and like there's other ones, like I said, I think like Eddie the Iron Maiden mascot, or like the Wu-Tang, the W from the Wu-Tang Clan would be an excellent nomination for best band logo. There's a lot of them. But yeah, when it comes to band covers, we're going to have to do like a 256 seed bracket. That's going to be crazy. Because there's just so many album covers. Like, there's obviously the classics, like Gina said, Hotel California. Obviously, Dark Side of the Moon is gonna be a big heavy hitter for top album cover of all time. What else would be up there? Excuse me, pardon the sniffles. It's a little cold. Car says it's 52, and I've been snorting way too much cocaine all day. That's a joke. The Wall also, yeah, there's a lot of Pink Floyd albums that could be very good candidates. Also, going back to Maiden had some badass album covers. I'm thinking about Peace of Mind and Number of the Beast immediately spring to mind. Also, Judas Priest's British Steel. I'm just thinking metal covers right now. Metallica's either Master of Puppets or Ride the Lightning. One or the other, doesn't matter. They're both phenomenal album covers. Or here's I'm literally trying to limit myself to like metal and metal adjacent music right now. Oh, Danzig's first album, Danzig's self-titled album with the Danzig skull logo. Hell yeah. Speaking of Danzig, definitely gonna have to throw the Misfits' Walk Among Us in there. And also, oh yeah, The Clash, London Calling with Topper Heaton, or I can't remember the bassist's name off the top of my head, but him smashing the bass guitar. Classic album cover. Never mind the bollocks, here's the Sex Pistols, just for historicity. Yeah, what he said, don't do drugs, but if you're gonna do drugs, do them safely. That's all I'm gonna ask. And also, Faithless, what's Wigfield? I can't do wheelies, I'm in a car. I'm not in a motorcycle. Wheelies are not a possibility, but you know what? When I'm super rich off this YouTube shit, and I have and I finally get around to buying Dominic Toretto's Dodge Charger, then I'll do a wheelie. Yeah, it's just not possible, But like I said, one day when I get Toretto's Charger, then I'll do for real wheelie. Oh, this is It's a piece of turquoise. It's good luck. It's for good luck. My mom put it. My mom puts good luck charms in all the family cars, even if even if she doesn't drive them ever because I don't live with my parents. But yeah, this dangly dangle is a piece of turquoise on a string. Speaking of my roof or my rear view, I need to get a new frickin' I need a new rear view mirror. I've got one of the, like, there's actually a recall on my car. There's actually a recall on my car because the fluid in the auto dimming mirror would burst, and so it would be permanently dimmed, and that's actually what's happened to my mirror as well. And so unfortunately, so I need to get a new mirror, and I'm not gonna replace it with one of these stupid ass auto dimmings ones. I just want a normal, like, you know, the old style ones with the flipper, so I can just easily switch from dim, bright, dim, bright, dim, bright, dim, bright without, like, boofalishness. But yeah, my mom is pretty cool sometimes. Other times, not so much. But I do, you know, obviously I love my parents very, very much. Perhaps admission against ignorance. I don't always like my parents, but that's besides the point. Even when I don't like them, I always love them. Work's been all right. I finally got a shift at Universal on Sunday. Although I haven't been called since. But yeah, you know, work's been okay. I really need to get more shifts at Universal because that's the job that actually earns good money. The other job puts me convenient to the cats and whatnot, and it's easy for me to do, and it's consistent and steady. But Bob also. No, it really isn't busy at all right now. Like, that's why I'm not getting shifts, because just nobody's really coming. Like, I was there on Sunday and it was fairly busy. Let's see if is there any activity at the main colony. I don't see any cats. Let's go check in on Gino first, and then we'll check in on the main colony maybe. But yeah, it's not really busy, to be honest with you, right now, especially because it's been raining very, very hard of late. Fats is here! Yeah. Meow! Fats! Yeah, you get snow, we get flash flood warnings. That's actually why I didn't feed the cats on Mondays, because it was just coming down, and I was like, no can do. All right. Beam bop boom. All right. Gino! Ow! Ow, Fats! Gino! Ow! Gino! All right, we got Fats in the meantime. Yeah, there's no snow here in California, or at least in this part of California, but there is much water and wetness. What's up, Fats? Gino! Ow! Ow! Yeah. Fats! What's up, Fats? Holy crap, look, they finally cleared out the homeless encampment. Look, all the blankets and shit are gone. Praise be, praise Jah. Fats! Yes, sir! Meow! Hey, Fats. Did you scare Gino away? Is that what's happened? Like I get to see you, but no Gino today? That might be a possibility. No Gino today. TBH, I kind of hope that the people who said they were going to take Gino off the streets finally got around and took Gino off the streets like they should have. Whee! Yeah, let me go get food, okay? I'll be right back. Bonk. What's up, Dark Wolf? It's snowing in San Francisco? Oh, Rockstar, I live in LA, in case you were asking about me, specifically. Oh, Gino's here. Cool. Gino! First, let me take care of Fats. All right, Gino's doing a rollover and play comfy. Somebody also messaged me asking, can I take Fats off the streets and get him ready for adoption? And the answer is absolutely yes, as soon as Charlie is done. I could maybe have an 8th cat if it's a kitten, but I cannot have 8 fully grown cats in my apartment. Even with Louisa crossing the Rainbow Bridge, so I have far less, like, you know, special health needs cats. It's just too much for me to keep up without, like, you know, inviting, like the robots in. Like, I might have to start saving, like, to keep doing, but, you know, there might be some stuff brewing in the future, but I'm not going to discuss that publicly right now because I don't believe I'm at the liberty to discuss it. But yeah, there might be some stuff brewing in the near to not too distant future, which could really accelerate the kittydom process. Although I might need more help from you guys because the number of kitties in my apartment might be going through the roof. So I might need some help for food costs from you fine folks. 1 second, Fats. Excuse me. I might do a quick, like, members only video telling the channel members. Or actually, you know what I might do? I might make it an unlisted video, and I'll send the people in the Discord, so whether or not you're a member, if you're in the Discord you can see it, and then I'll also make a post that's members only with the link, so that if you're a member but not in the Discord, like I think Julian, for example, is a member but not in the Discord, Gino is incoming. But yeah, so if you're a member but not in the Discord, you can still see that. But anyways, but yeah. Like I said, I'm excited to tell you all about it, but I cannot tell you all about it quite yet. Also, if y'all can't hear me, I do apologize. The new phone seems to generally do very well with audio, but the one place where it struggles is when I start when I'm recording behind the phone and then go to the front of the phone, it seems to struggle changing like the main mic source to the front of the phone for some reason. I don't understand why that is, but that seems to be the case. Also, just, you know, not for nothing, but relative to, it's very quiet right now, but this is a much larger thoroughfare than like where we are in Louisville or with the other cats. Gino! Yeah! No, you got to do the rollover, but you got to do the rollover over there by your place. That's the Gino, that's Gino's spot, that's Fat's spot. Excuse me, I do apologize for that disgusting belch. Gino! Let's also pick this empty can of, excuse me, food. Jesus Christ, where did I get so belchy all of a sudden? Gino! Alright, just for Fat, give me 1 second. I'm going to give food to Gino, and then we'll go back and hang with you, okay? Mr. Fats! Oh! So, Wingsley, I've thought about using an external mic, but to be honest with you, generally speaking, this mic is better than the external mic I used to have. So, you guys are just going to have to deal with the fact that the audio gets slightly worse when I'm in front of the camera sometimes, but it is what it is. Hey, G. You're a good boy. Hey, Fats, you're also a good boy, but you're a bit of a menace. Longtime viewers of the channel will know this is a very common occurrence where I'm trying to give food to another cat and Fats will just swoop in because he's straight out of freaking Central Casting with the, I need all your attention right now, David. Excuse me. I am a tuxedo cat. I am a luxury cat. This is an orange tuxedo cat. He's a clown. You're both luxury cats. He's just got the tan suit like Obama did. Sorry, I cracked myself up there. It's all good. Alright, Gino has an opinion about Fats. Fats probably has an opinion about Gino. Okay. Gino does not like Fats. Gino's been here an awful lot longer because Fats used to live at the main colony. Okay, Fats. We're gonna give this food to Gino and you're gonna come with me. Sounds good? Sounds good? Let's go. All right. So, Mara Lee, let me give you the lay of the land as far as things go. Hold on. Fats! What are you two characters doing? There you go, Fats. Come on. Come on, dude. Mr. Fats. Hello, Emok. And thank you, Gina. You're pretty awesome yourself, if I do say so myself. All right, Fats, let's go. So, and for Marilee, so you know how I mentioned a long time ago that the address to the main colony is 8062 Webb Avenue? Well, this address is 8120 Webb Avenue. 91605, I believe. Meow. Meow. Fats. Here, let me try this. Hold on. Let's flip the camera so maybe the audio quality will stay good while I'm chilling with Fats. So yeah, so basically the lay of the land is that this is just slightly down the block north. Ow, no biting. This is just slightly down the block north from the main colony. Which, like I said, is rapidly becoming not the main colony because all the cats are disappearing. It sucks. Yeah, you didn't need to bite me, dude. I recognize you got some alpha cat behavior in you, but I'm the real alpha cat. You're just kind of an asshole sometimes. Love you, but you're just kind of an asshole sometimes. It is what it is. Look, game recognized games. I can be an asshole too. That's why I know you're an asshole sometimes. Well, you feel a certain type of way about that? That's not my problem, dude. That is not my problem. Yeah, Fats is the real slim. He's not so slim. He's the real fat shady. But yeah, he is a beautiful kitty. Boink. Hey. He's more of a tuxedo cat. Charlie is more of a cow cat. I agree, Maxi, Luna, Molly Mia. Okay, Fats, you're starting to get aggro, Fats. There you go. Bye. All right, let's check in on the main colony and see if anybody is there. And if they are, we'll go try and feed some of them. And if not, we will head home. But yeah, as is, we got Fats eating, and then down by my car, we got Gino eating. Wingsley, to be honest with you, I don't know, and I don't want to be a doomsayer, and I don't want to be overly optimistic either, so I'm just going to stick with I don't know. Unfortunately, it's not the answer I want to give anybody, but it's the only answer I got at the moment. This is Los Angeles, California, Maxi, Luna, Molly, Mia. Yeah, TBT, like Elijah said, TBD. You know, a bunch of them have been going missing of late. I don't know whether, you know, something bad happened. Obviously, we hope nothing bad happened. But I don't know if something bad happened, if they got scared because they're having like their habitat destroyed by the new machinist, and that's why they're just leaving, or whether they're being trapped and relocated, which would be terrible, or I have no real clue. Obviously, the hope is that they're not far from here and will return eventually. The more realistic outcome, I think, is that a lot of them have probably relocated themselves to a place that they find less dangerous, and we just need to find wherever that place is. That would be my hope if we're being optimistic. My fear, if we're being doomsayers, is that they've either been relocated to like they've been taken by some sort of whatever the opposite of a rescuer is, like an anti-rescuer, or something horrible like that. Yeah. Faithless is very convinced that what he just said is what has happened. I refuse to believe that that's happened to all of them, but if it did, we saved as many as we could, and I'm really sad about the ones we couldn't get, but but I will say this, one of the reasons we're not seeing cats is it's very late and it's very cold. When I come here closer to sunset and on a warm day, not saying that there's a lot of cats, but there's more than zero. I mean, true faithless, but keep in mind, a lot of cats were in the process of disappearing over time. Like, we were seeing less and less of Big V and less of Marble Cat, and like they were all slowly but surely leaving the colony because of habitat destruction. But yeah, it's just terrible, and at some point I'm gonna have to probably confront this dude, but I am not a confrontational person, so I'm definitely like dilly-dallying on that, but at some point I'm just... Yep. Absolutely. I mean, look, regardless of the final disposition of the cats, Faithless, I am in 100% agreement with you that the new shop owner is a real dirtbag. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Faithless? I guess I really do, because I mean, look, I don't need to ask him to let me continue feeding the cats. I just need to find out what happened to him, and if he's getting them trapped or something. Because if he is, fuck him, and I'm calling the cops. I don't like to call the cops, but this is the thing I will call the cops for. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. There's a whole bunch of questions, but there's a whole bunch of questions and not a lot of answers. But like, yeah, I mean, look, to be honest with you guys, I don't know what happened, and I'd love to discuss solutions, or at least, fortunately, Gina, there's still a few LAPD lying around. I just don't like them, really. Yeah, no, that's exactly what Faithless said. I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to come storming in, hey, fucking asshole, what did you do to my fucking cats? I'm just going to be like, hi, excuse me, sir. I'm one of the people who's been feeding cats at this colony for 4 years now, and I couldn't help but notice that a bunch of them have gone missing recently, and I'm just curious if you know where they went, by any chance. Have you trapped them by any chance? And if so, where did they go? The real question I want to ask is why? But, oh, look, and it's a taquache, too. Little opossum back there. Yeah, I'm all in favor of people leaving 1-star reviews on his business. I'm all in favor of stuff like that. I don't want to swat the dude or anything, because that's kind of... Yeah, the difference is that guy was just some, you know, he was just some junkie, you know? Junkies, if you even look the least bit intimidating, will be intimidated. The problem with business owners, they're a little bit more alpha aggro, unfortunately. And that's not the kind of person I want. Like, so what I might do, I might see if I can enlist Hector to help. Just because it's touch and go. Gino! Fats. All right. What we are going to do... I tend to agree with you, Wingsley. It's just, I would like a little confirmation if possible. You know? And if the dude has if the dude is enough of an adult... If the dude is enough of an adult to actually admit, yeah, I had them trapped and killed, then you know what? That means I need to contact the rescue I work with and say, look, I wouldn't do this, but we need to clear out the entire colony because they are not safe. You know, and hopefully she'd be willing to work with me. Fats. I mean, more than you might think, Faithless, because, like, there's the scared cats. Jamie, hi, Gina. Okay, Gina, if you're going to sleep, have a great night. There's more, I don't... Pauline is still there. Lil V is still... Yeah, no, but those are still there. Pauline is still there. Lil V is still there. Neville's still there. Hopefully Manice comes back. Hopefully Manice just got sick. Like, Dick Grayson is probably the most socialized of the ones that are left. It's like, that's the thing. If they are in danger, I want to clear out as many of them as I possibly can. But, because there's, like, that's the thing, Faithless. I don't want to be a doomsayer, you know? Like, I don't think all of them are still alive, but, like I said, I don't want to, I mean, I was beginning to think that Charlie had crossed the Rainbow Bridge, and then all of a sudden he showed back up, with pink eye. Yeah, Charlie's safe, Baby Blue is safe, Tatiana is safe, Ozzy is safe, Charlie's children, Sonny and Sully. Oh, there was somebody named I'm Done. Oh, sorry, Gina. Oh, my God. You threw me for a loop there. What? Yeah, so I'm done by. We're talking about the cats. And at my former main colony, a lot of cats have gone missing the past few months. And we're worried whether they are moved to a new place because of habitat destruction or if they've... Yeah, or if something much worse has happened, which we hope does not happen, but we need to be prepared for that to have happened. But until we have confirmation, we will not say that the worst has happened. Yeah, I know. Charlie was... No, you know what it was? Charlie was at that quinceañera hall next to his colony, and he was hanging out with all the toxicas. Charlie was hanging out with a bunch of ladies with Nissan Altimas with bald tires. My baby Aiden is my life. Type shit. All right. Okay, Fats. And yeah, Elijah, you have been cranking out the videos. I got it tomorrow. I gotta do your 100 subscriber vid. That's a nice color for that Mustang, kind of dark red. All right, Fats, you stay over there. Gino, you stay over there. You do not follow me. Don't follow me. I'm getting in the car. You cannot get in the car. Well, you can get in the car, but yeah, big ups to Elijah for putting out much videos. Elijah, just to confirm the 100 subscriber giveaways, you have to pick 5 locks of basically any belt level, but SPP, and then name 5 indigenous Australian nations. Is that correct? Oh, it was a Mustang, but you know, I've got a bitchin' Camaro. Oh, that's awesome, Roscoe. 4120. I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one, Faithless. I was brought home from the hospital as a newborn in a burgundy Ford. I will forever love burgundy as a color for cars. Now, burgundy interiors, I think, are an affront to God and should have stayed in the 70s with velour. But yeah, if we're talking cars, a metallic burgundy I love. Or like a copper. But yeah, exactly, like you said, we can disagree. You know, I'll say this. Burgundy or not burgundy, it's better than like, look, every car these days is some form of white, black, silver, or gray, including my car. So any color that's not white, black, silver, or gray, be it yellow, be it a shade of yellow, a shade of red, a shade of blue, a shade of green, is all right by me. And that includes burgundy. Now, I see what you're saying, Faithless. I'm not sure I fully disagree with you, because I'm thinking of like a gray Ford Taurus, for example, or like, yeah, like I'm like, you know what would be, you know what I think would look great in burgundy from your and Elijah's neck of the woods is a nice, like the final generation of Ford Falcon with a Barra engine and everything in. Okay. Oh yeah, I got. Oh yeah. All right, 3 locks. I might have to pick some extra for bonus purposes. All right, let me make sure not to back over Fats, which I won't. That's a great color for a bike too, black cherry cola. All right, let's head home. Bye, Fats. Bye, Gino. Bye, other kitties who are not visible right now. Like I said, it's for Los Angeles. It's very, very cold right now. It's not cold like in general, like for people with real weather, but for LA, it's quite cold right now. And you know, because it's a desert, it feels colder than it actually is. And yeah, for Gilliam Vespa, blue Ford Focus is pretty legit, especially like the Polestar blue that they were doing for the Focus RS. So the temperature, according to my car, is 53. My car is a liar, however. 1 second. Oh, whoops, that's the control center. Phone said it's 44. It feels more like 44 than 53. My car is not very accurate with the temperature gauge. I would actually honestly split the difference and say it's probably something like 47, 40, 46, 47 degrees in Roman Catholic. Go Prius with only 1 headlight. All right, cool. Yeah, Southern, yeah, you see, Gina, see, that's the thing. That's why I'm trying to couch it in, like, relativity, because for LA, this is very cold. For other parts of California, or, like, the real world where it's not. Oh, fantastic, Faithless. I actually got to take my car in to get the aircon fixed, and, because I have a leak somewhere in the system, and it's just, about 6 to 8 months ago. I had my Freon topped up, or my R134A, whatever you want to call it, and I've already lost all the Freon, and I should not be losing Freon in 6 months. That's way too much leakage. Yeah, 1 degree seems like the opposite of fun. I hope it's 1 degree Fahrenheit, or sorry, 1 degree Celsius. And not, so that's more like 33, 34 Fahrenheit, but I'm sure it was 1 degree Fahrenheit and you're in Americaville. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I gotta fix my AC system. And also, Jesus! Oof. Yeah, I've got friends in Pennsylvania, Wingsley. Lady Locks is in Pennsylvania, and I'm sure she's freezing her nards off. But yeah, for those of you who are pickers who don't know of Lady Locks and are not subscribed to Lady Locks, you should probably go subscribe to Lady Locks if you're interested in lock picking. She's awesome. Good friend also. An exceptional lockpicker. GD, I don't know what the numbers were, and I'm not going to take my eyes off the road for that long to read them. No, I don't live in my car. That being said, for people who do live in their car, we're definitely not going to look down on them. Just hope that they are able to find permanent housing sometime soon. You and me are the exact opposite, because I'm wishing it was summer right now, Faithless. I don't like this weather. Or you know what? I'm gonna actually modify that statement slightly. I don't know why my one finger is up in the air. But yeah, I'm fine when it rains. I like the rain, actually. I hate the frickin' like gray, just the weather is the absence of weather. It's just gray and overcast, but it never rains. I hate that shit. So yeah, and yeah, Ellie. So lockpicking, the way I do it is as a hobby. It's basically like puzzles for naughty boys or girls or non-binaries, but yeah, for me it really helps with, like I said, like I think I've said before, for me it really helps with preserving the feeling in the tips of my fingers and like fine motor skills, because I gotta tell you, after 10 years of being a chef, my fingies have a lot of scar tissue on them. Fair enough, Gino. Or sorry, Gina. But yeah, but like, so that's the thing. And it can be calming, and also like I personally am very like interested in like engineering and how things work. So you know, if there's something that I can take apart and tinker with and then put back together, I'm probably going to be interested in it. And locks are in that very specific delta of they're relatively yes, not to mention stimulating. They're relatively affordable to purchase, a lot of them, and they're relatively easy to take apart and put back together. Exactly, Wings. Exactly. You know, and it also teaches you to be present, because like because when you're picking locks, you don't want to you know, oh, what's that? You like, you have to focus on the picking. And like, you can ask anybody who's a picker. Like, that's why like when the lock picking, like when the people come into my chat when I'm picking, and they're like, the lock picking lawyer would have had it open by now. I'm like, no shit. This is the lock picking lawyer practiced that lock. Non-binary meaning neither, like they don't identify as male or female. So trans, intersex, whatever. The they them crowd want to be inclusive to everybody if possible. But yeah, exactly. You gotta slow the mind because I'm being like present. So, you know, well, that would be THEY''RE issue, but you know, whatever. They are there and there is always tricky. All right, you let in a little bit of transphobia, you get a lot of it. That's the problem. Oh, it's not a California thing. I mean, California is certainly accepting of it because we're not, you know, we're generally accepting of the alphabet gang, but you know, I mean, they do pretty the they thems do fairly well in other states. I think they do just fine in Washington, Oregon, Minnesota, New York, New Jersey. Blue states in general, the alphabet gang does pretty well. Red states, not so much. I'm not going to make a political thing about it, though, but, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, but getting back to lockpicking, it's all about being present. It's all about clearing your mind of all the bullshit. And as I was saying, that's why when people come into my chat when I'm picking and say, oh, the lockpicking lawyer would have had it picked by now. Like, no shit, he would have had it picked by now. He practiced the lock for hours before he started the camera. He probably knows the binding order by heart. And two, he's not picking live. If the pick doesn't go the way he wants it, he can just cut the camera and start over from the beginning. This is the lock-picking lawyer, and the lock I have for you today is blank. You know? Oh, Faithless, the lock-picking lawyer is an exceptional picker. Yeah, it's more, I mean, here's the thing, merely, is that generally speaking, you know, people like that tend to live in larger cities, in my experience, because when you're a class of people that can come under fire and be marginalized like Alphabet Gang is very much right now, there's strength in numbers. And so they tend to live in large cities where there's more, you know, more of them. They can find acceptance rather than, you know, being looked down on just for being themselves. But yeah. So, like, you know, so, I mean, that's also, like, that's also why, like, you know, that's also why minorities, like blacks and Hispanics tend to prefer cities these days. There's strength and safety in numbers. You know, that's also why, historically speaking, Jewish people would group together. You know, that's why you have neighborhoods like Crown Heights in New York, or the Five Towns area in Long Island, or what else? Beverlywood in Los Angeles is another very heavily Jewish neighborhood. So yeah, so that's what it is. But yeah, as far as the lockpicking lawyer goes and his skill, I would say objectively LPL is a better picker than I am by leaps and bounds. But I show my face on camera, and LPL has yet to show his face on camera. So I'm going to take the dub on that one. He's too chicken shit to show the world what he looks like. I bet it's because he secretly looks like a freaking elephant man. Yeah, me and Gina bonded over our shared love of kitty cats and marijuana. The good. All right, y'all, we're almost home. I'm being stalked by Raising Cane's. It's really annoying. Something NyQuil? Elijah, you might have to help me on this one. I know there's like float pick and bong grips or something like that. Yeah, some of the some lockpickers screen names are like hilarious. Okay, cheese grits and NyQuil, that's the one. I can't do shit. Guy wants to go into Raising Cane's and he's driving like a bitch. I can't do shit about it. Why don't you? Fuck you, dude. Yeah. Which cat is... Emily's at the window. Yeah, well, I mean, in fairness, Gina, I was getting honked by the guy behind me because the guy in front of... But yeah, I do have very... that is definitely my toxic trait. I'll be the first one to admit it. I can be a real asshole on the road, and I have very limited patience for people who drive what I would consider poorly. This is my toxic trait. Audio back. Hey, C. Hey, Benny. Still no audio? Still no? Or yes now? All right, we're back. Benny. Charlie. Boop. All right. Guys, do me a favor. Hang out with the cats for a little bit. I actually need to take a bathroom break, so I'm actually going to re-mute the audio so you can't hear me tinkling, because I don't think you'll want to hear that. Hocus pocus by focus. Tinkle does indeed happen. All right, but we're back. Also, in other news, folks, I'm an idiot and did not bring my wallet with me today, which means I didn't have my driver's license with me today. Good thing I didn't get pulled over. Oh no, Charlie! Big C, Big Charlie, Mr. Big Charlie, Big C. Big itty, big itty, big itty. Charlie is a big back. Big back Charlie. Okay, y'all. And in other news, remember a couple streams ago I said I was so excited to show y'all a new lock that was really completing the rare master lock set? Well, it came in the mail. Finally. And when I say it came in the mail, it didn't come in the mail so much as it was already delivered. It was just delivered to the wrong box because sometimes the United States Postal Service is truly Okay, are we back? Do we have audio? Audio yes, audio no. Yay, yay. Cat. All right. Wingsley, perhaps fittingly for my for the things that I do, I'm a Leo. That being said, I don't really follow that sort of thing. So, but you know, you do you. I'm not here to disabuse people of their superstitions. All right, but let me get back to what I was saying. So, exactly, my astrological sign is cat. So, keen pickers of the locks will be very familiar with this line of orange belt master locks. The 570, 75, 76, and the 532. That being said, I am barely a Leo because I'm August 20th, and Leo is through August 22nd. So I'm just barely squeaking by. But yes. Yes, keen observers, keen pickers will know this series. There's the 570, which is the aluminum one with the dead core key retaining. They used to be a lot better than they currently are. There's, of course, the 575, which is the same core, except it's made of brass and therefore is prettier. And then, of course, there's the 576, which is not key retaining, and it has a sprung shackle. And the 532, which is also not key retaining, also with a sprung shackle, and this one's made of steel and is big and honkin'. For those of you with a little inside baseball knowledge of Master, there was another one that they made with the same core called the 533 with a high shackle guard, but same orange belt level core. And also, if anybody's curious why this retaining pin is set so deeply in compared to like the normal ones, it's because I actually managed to drill out the original pin. I got this one off I got this guy off a bridge. This was a love lock. So I had it with no key, and I drilled out the original pin, popped out the original core, and made a key for it. Which you can do with the 570, 575, etc., etc., etc. But the one that I am excited to show y'all, although like I said, it's not a great lock by any stretch of the imagination, but it really helps me. Exactly. The new one is this, which you're like, wait, David, that's a 570. No, it's not. It's bigger. Meet the 571. So yes, it's slightly larger. It's a 45 millimeter instead of 40 millimeter like the 570. And unlike the 570, but very much like the 576, this one has a sprung shackle and is not key retaining. So for the lock pickers, neato lock. I've been looking for one for a really long time, and I finally found a guy who was selling them on eBay. I do indeed make keys. I like making keys for locks that have no key. Sooner rather than later, we'll have to do one of that for like on a live where we make keys. But yeah, it's a fun thing to do once you learn it, and it's not hard, honestly. Impressioning is hard, which is where you make a key by blind filing. And that I have no skill on myself. But to make a key, if you can see the pins, is actually pretty easy. Yeah. But for those of you who know how to pick, like I said, it's not a hard lock to pick. It's already open, as a matter of fact. Let's go through the whole series just for shits and giggles. All right, we got the 571. Let's do the 570 now. Actually, y'all can actually see this was my first 570 from when I first started picking, and you can see how much I was picking bottom of the keyway, because I literally like put a little wear mark over there from when yeah. Actually, I'm not sure if this is either my first or second 570. No, I don't. Well, I've made picks in the past, Wingsley, but I buy my picks. Um, I Yeah, most of my picks are from Covert Instruments. That's actually Lockpicking Lawyers Company. Um, it's a good pick. It's a good pick. It's a good steal. And a while back, I won $1,000 gift certificate to Covert Instruments by picking a lock. So yeah, I use a lot of Covert Instruments because I've been able to buy a lot of Covert Instruments without spending any actual money. Blind picking this 570 from the first time in forever. I forgot how difficult they could be when you forget the binding order. I still can't forgive Master Lock for ruining this lock. They used to be so much fun to pick, and now they just aren't. There we go. Okay, Gina, sleep well. Till next time, and there we go. Finally, the 570 is open. Now the 575. Yeah, it's the story. Dark Wolf. The sad thing is, it's a tale of two 570s because the 570 used to be a great lock, and I think I actually sent you one that was a pretty good, like, not easy pick. And then about a year and a half to 2 years ago, Master Lock was like, you know what? That's too good of a lock. Let's make it shitty. And they did, and I'm so upset at Master Lock for being Master Lock. So Wingsley, it's going to be there will be a slightly technical explanation, but I will give you that explanation in a second. But it has everything to do with tolerances and pinning. Another one. All right, now we're starting to get into like the higher, well, no, actually the 575 is really, or the 576 is really easy because I don't think it has any spools. Oh, you must have, oh, those are, oh, you must have gotten the military version of the 5200 then, Dark Wolf, because yeah, that's the military cylinder. It's actually not copper. It's copper washed zinc, believe it or not. But yeah, it's disappointing with what Master Lock has foisted on the American military. Because the old 5200 military version was actually a much better lock. Like, I actually have the old 5200 military version, which has the a standard American lock keyway, and it's a brass core. So those are way better if you can find them, and they're not that hard to find. I mean, they made thousands of them for the military. All right, let's try the 533 with the high shackle guard. But yeah, it is worse. Zinc is objectively one of the worst things you can use to make locks out of. The thing is that it's very, very cheap, and so people like to make stuff out of zinc. It's I hate that it happens, but it does happen. All right, really quickly, Wingsley, I want to show you something. This is like a physical example of what made the old Master Locks better than the new Master Locks. All right, now, this 533 is not picked, but it's halfway picked. And the way you can tell that is that the core is partially turned, but the lock won't open. This is what's referred to as a false set, where you have some pins set, but not all of them. And this lock has what's called spool pins, which means that when some of the pins are set, the ones that are spooled are in the narrow part of the spool. And when I say it's a spool pin, I mean it's literally shaped like a spool of thread. So the top and bottom are fatter, and the center section is narrower. And the reason it's able to do this partial rotation, which is what's called a false set, is because the narrow part of the spools is in such a way that the core can move. And so, like, when you watch pickers, and the reason I brought up the other one, the other lock, was just to show, because, like, look, this one is not picked at all. Because, like, you see, there's a very clear difference in rotation. The old 570 was chock full of spools, and that's what made it a fun / challenging lock to pick. But when Master Lock redesigned the 570, they moved to a different factory or something like that. I don't know. And the spools went away, as did all the tolerances that made the spools fun to pick. And Master Lock is not known for its tolerances, so when they get even worse, oh lord. But yeah, let me turn the lock this way and hold it at a strange angle. But yeah, when you're picking spool pins and you're in this false set, you'll get what's called counter rotation, which you'll see the core wants to rotate back to center while I'm trying to set pins. So you saw how it rotated back and then popped back into the false set as I set the pin. And now the lock is open. So yeah, so with the 570, this was the older version. There's very obvious differences, which makes it, like, the older version had much classier, if you ask me, but had a different typeset for master. This is much, like, bigger. As you can see, the die that stamped the word hardened into the older shackle was much fresher than this old thing, which is like, it's almost like blurry on the hardened, because it's an older die. And like the same thing is true for like the model number stamping. Like the old one has this lovely thing. This looks like the die is about ready to be retired. And like I said, this one has spool pins, which increase your degree of difficulty ever so slightly relative to this guy, which is just basura. One day I'll actually do. I cleaned up these two, because I don't have keys to these two, But I cleaned them up so I could remake the video that I made a long time ago showing the differences. And yes, there is a video on my channel from a long time ago where I actually go and show the differences. Okay, good night, Marilee. Thank you so much for stopping by. All right, let's see. That's the 5. So that's the good 570 open. That's me dropping my turning tool. I'm actually like, this is another case of, David, you're trying too hard for this shitty-ass lock. Oh, Ryan, you're talking about the Lishi picks. Yeah, they absolutely work. I have one for American lock. My only issue with them is that, barring some of them, they're mostly keyway specific. So, like, if you have to buy one for every single keyway you want to pick. And not every keyway in the world is available. So, like, they're great for what they are, but if you want to open... Actually, this is starting to hurt me, this angle. If you want to open every lock in the world, you're going to have to learn hook and turning tool picking. But yeah, they this thing is taking way longer than it should be. Now, there we go. That's the shitty one. But you might have noticed the shitty one never entered a false set because it has no spool pins. Yeah, but the Lishis do have some very, like, nice facets to them. For example, they're, excuse me, pardon the hiccup. They're extremely, yeah, Lishis are decoders too, and that's probably their secret superpower is that they can decode locks in addition to pick them. So, like, once they're picked, you can make a key using that method. All right. Let me return the... Speaking of keys, let me return the keys to all these locks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, decoder. Let me explain that one. I'll actually pick a lock with the Lishi. It might take a little bit longer than you might think because I haven't picked a Lishi in forever, but that doesn't mean now that I've sandbagged sufficiently, yeah, what Elijah just said, it allows you to decode the pin sizes so you can make a key. So I don't have a Schlage Lishi, I only have an American lock Lishi. Let's pick an American lock. All right, let's pick this American 5100. Or actually, no. Sorry. We're going to pick the cutaway, because fuck it. No, we're not. All right. All right, good night, Wingsley. Yeah, exactly. The grid note. So all right, let's pick the 5100. Where did that go? There it is. I was gonna pick the cutaway, but then I realized that the number face for the number face on the Lishi and the actual cutaway on the cutaway are on opposite sides of the damn lock. So, yeah. Like I said, it's been a while. Let me sandbag a little bit. It's been a while since I picked with a Lishi, so if I fuck up, please don't be upset at me. All right. Click out of 1. Click out of 2. Little click out of 3 is still binding, I think, though. Another one. Oh, I overset 3. Let's see if I can. Three might be set, actually. Check 4. Four might be a 0 lift. Yeah, I think 4 is a 0 lift. That feels set. I'm so bad at leashes. That feels set. All right, and we're open. But now that the lock is open, I can take my Lishi tool and I can decode. So hold on, let me zoom in because this thing struggles with close focus. All right, 1 is a 6 cut. 2 is 3. 3 is 4. 4 is 8. So 6, 3, 4, 8, 4. 6, 3, 4, 8, 4. Let's see if that's is indeed the key code for this lock. I need to find a key for it first. Give me a second. 6, 3, 4, 8, 4. And indeed, when we look at our key, 63484 is indeed the bidding for this particular lock. So now if I had an American lock and I didn't have the keys for them like I have for this one, I could either A, file my own key, because now I know the bidding depths, or option B, so these numbers correspond to the key bidding cuts. Now the cuts on a key are not that you can't just file whenever. They're numbered. So in the case of American lock, you have 8 bidding depths that go from 1 through 8. So 1 in American lock would be no cut. 8 is the deepest cut. So this is an 8 cut right here. Yeah, and for the record, not all locks have what's called a direct bidding code, where they literally give you the number of the bidding on the lock. 2 ones that I know very frequently do direct bidding code is American Lock, loves to do the direct bidding code, and the other one, where's that at? Do I have a name brand key so I can be like, look, these guys are buffoons at times. There I say. Oh, also, for those of you who are like, want to be super nerds, another one with a direct bidding code is Goal from Japan does do direct bidding codes. This is indeed 2437475 on this Goal Z. See? 2437475. All right. But like, yeah, Master Lock, for example, uses what's called a blind code. So like the code on this lock is 51K44. So I have no, like, I can give you a pretty good guess just by looking at the key what the bidding is. But I couldn't, like, I can't read it off the key direct. But yeah. Another frequent culprit, I would say, of direct bidding codes is our friends from Schlage, who love to put the direct bidding code on their keys. And yes, the key to this code is 45974. 45974. So you see how this and this are the exact same height? That's because they're both 4 cuts. The most difficult lock to pick is whatever I have not picked yet. There's a couple locks that have never been picked before, and there's a few locks that have just recently, in the past year or so, had their first ever public pick on camera. I have not picked any of these locks. The Slock 19 is definitely the hardest master lock to pick that I can think of. But yeah, there's I don't have an example to show you, but one of the hardest locks to pick that was ever made, that, like I said, only recently has become something that regularly gets picked, is a lock called the Chromer Protector. It was made in Germany, and it's a safe lock. There's some other locks. There's the Western Electric 30C, which is an American payphone lock, which is regarded as one of the hardest locks ever made. There's the NATO Mercy lock, which was an old military lock from the UK. And there's some other ones. You know, for a long time, recently, somebody did the first ever pick of the Boli Rotacera. Yes, I mean, Ryan, believe it or not, some locks have pins coming from more than just 2 sides. Some locks have pins coming from as many as 5 or 6 sides. Yeah, that's right. 5 banks of pins arranged in a pentagram shape. So, the hardest locks that I have, none of them that I have picked yet, but also none of them that are necessarily unpickable. But yeah, so let me show you some of them. Some of them are in my naughty bucket because they're very naughty, and some of them are on display because I'm fairly convinced that I will not be able to pick them anytime soon. Yeah, nothing, yeah, but nothing in the world is unpickable. There are a lot of locks there are some locks that have not picked yet, but I would say there is no such thing as an unpickable lock. You know, I would have honestly thought the Boli Rotacera would have never been picked, and then I saw a video of Tony Sansan picking a Boli Rotacera, and I was like, duh, what? But yeah, for the record, if any of y'all want to see somebody who is just a simply world-class picker and seems to be doing nothing but first ever public pick videos, check out Tony Sansan on YouTube. Tony S-A-N, Tony Sansan. Yeah, I mean, tools is part. What's up, Labs? Yeah, tools is tools is definitely something to do with it, and it's also he just experiment. Yeah, he makes his own tools. He makes, you know, and it's just a lot of careful experimentation. So yeah. So from the naughty bucket, this is the only black belt lock. Well, that's actually not true. I mean, he's doing hook and tension, but also some custom picks. So yeah, so this is the multi-lock MTL 800 or MT5 Plus. I have picked multi-lock before, but I have not picked this particular multi-lock before. And so yeah, it has 5 pin-in-pin chambers. It has 5 sliders controlled by this laser track, and it has an interactive element too. So this will probably be the first ever black belt lock I pick, assuming I get to it before I get to the goal Z remains to be seen. And yeah, like you were saying, locks with with 2 banks of pins. Here's an example of that. This is the Dom. Yes, it's called a Dom IX. It has 10 pins, 5 on each side. And if you look closely, hold on, I'll turn the flash on. You see how there's 2 rows of pins? So yeah, that's one. But yeah, it's a cool. This is actually an older version of the Dom IX10. The newer versions also have an interactive element, which is like a little ball bearing over here. But if we're talking about cool locks, and now we're getting into the zone of like, they're not unpickable, but the chances that I pick them in my lifetime, I don't know. I'm not picking them anytime soon. So first off, this is the Western Electric 30C. It's a payphone lock, so you're not going to see it very many of them, but this is what the key looks like. It's corrugated, it's a lever lock, it's got a blocker in it. It works very smoothly. And yeah, I mean, this is not this lock has been picked by more than just one person, but if more than 10 people have picked the 30C publicly, I'd be surprised. Put it to you that way. Or maybe not, you know, maybe we, you know, the knowledge base for the 30C is actually starting to go around. So let me raise it from 10 to maybe 15, 20. But like I said, the amount of people that can pick this lock in the world is not very many. And the same goes for this lock, which is the NATO Mercy lock. Let me turn this flashlight off. Actually, let me turn it back on so y'all can see, so you can see how the key interfaces with. So this is what's called a lever lock. It doesn't have pins as such. It has levers. And this is a 14 lever lock. So it has 7 levers on one wing and 7 levers on the other wing. And the reason that this one is longer is because this bit back here is to grab the bolt itself and throw it. But, so we've got 7 levers on this top stack, 7 levers on the bottom stack, and these are the springs that actuate the levers. So when we insert the lock, or we insert the key, we can actually, because it has a plastic surround usually, but I took that off so you can see how it works. But yeah, as you can see, the key goes in, and then it actually actuates the levers. And now, so you can see how the key spins into the levers on the bottom one, and then lifts all the levers to the correct height, and then throws the bolt. Yeah, so this is a lock made for the British. It's like it's like I said, here's the NATO code for it. It was made, this particular one was made in 1991, and so yeah, this was made for the British Ministry of Defense to secure things that need to be secure. And beyond the fact that it's very difficult to pick this, one thing that made these Mercy locks very unique is that they have exceptional key control. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, each lock had a key made for it. Now, that's not very special, but there was only one key made for each lock. The the key code is unique. The code is matched. Where is it? Here. The code is matched to the serial number. So as you can see, M041435, M041435 on both the key and the lock. The key itself was actually secured behind a... the key itself was actually secured in a safe behind a dial combination lock, and a much better one than this. It was a Chubb manifoil, which is one of the more difficult dial locks to deal with. So this key was behind a combination lock, and if the combination was ever forgotten or if the key was ever lost or whatever, the entire system would be thrown away. You know, there's only ever one key to each lock. If that key is compromised somehow, the whole system gets chucked and replaced. So this is what a real military lock should be like, compared to Dark Wolf's rather tragic American 5200 government locks. And for the record, Dark Wolf, don't worry about it. I've also picked a few of those 5200 GLs. They suck. I hate them. They make me upset because they're for the freaking military and they're shit. Like, it's bad. All right, Dark Wolf, have a great night. Stay safe out there, and hopefully you get that 570 soon. My recommendation, by the way, would be super light tension and bottom of the keyway. That's what works for me for 570s more than anything else. But, all right, holy shit, it's 1:45. I'm going to sleep soon, so we're going to pick our last lock. Of course, it's going to be my boy, the Stanley, with the good shackle pop sounds. But after that, we're going to take, yeah, after that, it's dab time, and then it's sleepy time for me. Charlie! Fred and Emily are very confused by the presence of Charlie. Hey, G! Come on, see? Join me next to the Abus. Yeah. We're in cahoots. I'm Charlie, and I do Charlie things. In Charlie ways. Charlie. Yeah. All right. All right, my boy. My Shata. The amazing, beautiful, wonderful Stanley 24/7 padlock. Ugh. I need more of these Stanleys. I have 2, and that's not nearly enough. I hate that they went out of production. It sucks. Like, I got into lock sport right as Stanley was like, you know what? We don't feel like making locks anymore. So I'm actually got lucky. This lock I actually bought new off Amazon, which is not a possibility anymore because There are no more new Stanley padlocks, or at least the rekeyable 24/7 series on Amazon. Baby Blue. Baby Blue got stuck in the cat tree. Actually, now he's unstuck. He's unstuck. Hey, Baby Blue. No, Jay, I'll be the first one to admit I am absolute dog shit when it comes to picking Medeco. And most Sargent and Greenleaf locks are Medeco cores. And so, yeah, I'll be the first one to admit I'm shit at it. Like on the LPU belt scale, most Medecos are ranked as purple belt, and I've actually picked multiple brown belt locks, which, I mean, is technically more difficult than purple. But, like, yeah, for whatever reason, I just suck donkey balls when it comes to picking Medeco. Like, I've got this little Medeco 4-pin payphone lock. I'll probably get around to picking that one soon. But, like, the only fully pinned Medeco that I've ever picked, and I'm looking for the damn core right now because I can't find it. Well, attached to my Covert Instruments case, this Medeco Metro lock, which uses a biaxial cam lock core, which technically, funnily enough, is a brown belt lock. Ah, here it is. So yeah, this is the only Medeco I've ever picked. It used to be inside this padlock, and I picked it when I had COVID. Have not been able to pick it ever since. And to show you what a pain in the ass Medeco is to me, let's head over to the naughty bucket. Every lock picker has a naughty bucket, which is where we put locks that are just real assholes to us. And mine has a Medeco M3. That's just a multi-lock. And a Medeco biaxial. There are 2 Medecos that have flummoxed me in this frickin' box. There's some other stuff, Abloys, Ingersoll 10 lever. Like, there's some... The naughty bucket is... The naughty bucket is unfortunately 162-0. Oh, I'm sorry, Charlie, I didn't see you over there. The naughty bucket stays undefeated. They're not the best lock. It's just that I am very bad at picking Medeco. A lot of like for a long time, Medeco was considered unpickable, but nobody would consider it unpickable now. But but that being said, I'm not gonna. They're not unpickable, but in the field, in a general use case, they're effectively unpickable, I would say, because they're very difficult to pick. And if, like, I'm not a professional locksmith, I'm just a lock picker and an idiot. But like that's the thing. If it's my, ooh, how did I get the like cowlick going on here? Like that's the thing. I can sit down and pick Medecos for fun for as long and for like whatever. you know, but if I'm a locksmith, if it's my time and my money, I'm not gonna blind pick a Medeco going, "Ooh, one is binding, two, you know, no, fuck that shit. The the best pick is the drill pick in that case. I'm gonna get, you know, if I'm a professional locksmith and I find a Medeco in the field, I'm getting a hammer drill with a carbide bit and just going straight through the Bible, because it's not worth it to pick. You know, because if you're a professional locksmith, your time is money, and you don't want to waste time picking a lock that's very difficult to pick when you could. Yeah, I mean, Medecos are used for a lot. Funnily enough, without showing you all the key bitting, where's my house keys? Oh, they're in the front. Without showing you the bitting, this is the key to my parents' house, and it's a Medeco. You know, and I do see, and you still see a lot of relatively high security applications still use Medeco to this day, and it's because it's a good lock. But like I said, is it unpickable? Absolutely not. Have I picked a Medeco? Yes. Would I consider myself a good or even competent Medeco picker? No. I am shit. But that being said, I've seen videos of people punking Medecos in the speed that it takes me to pick a master lock. So, you know, now partially it's luck, it's practice and all that. So that's why I said in the field, in the wild, they're going to be much, much more difficult to pick than on my bench, for example. And so, Dag, it really depends on what your use case is. Master locks are physically tough. That, like, I don't think anybody in their right mind would say that master locks aren't physically well made. The thing is that their actual pick protection is slim to none, and slim just left town. They're just so pathetically bad when it comes to pick resistance. And now, granted, most people aren't going to pick your lock if they want to break in. And so that's why I say, in regular use, a lot of master locks. So this is actually, so this one, what CL 5059 is saying used to be true, but is no longer true. Now, there are a lot of master locks that can be slapped open, but, like, master lock's shittiest lock, the number 3, about, I'd say 7-8 years ago, switched from a spring-loaded, locking mechanism that could be slapped open, to ball bearings, which are not shimmable and not smackable either. All this being said, it's still not a good lock. It just can't be shimmed or wrapped. You know, but it's not a good lock. It doesn't have good pick resistance. As an example, I'm not even going to use a pick. I'm going to just use this flat piece of wire to open this lock. Oh, hold on. This one's too fat. It's not getting in. All right, there we go. There's my, all right, sorry, skinnier piece of wire. Yeah, and beyond what Jay's saying, they don't even slow down people. Locks keep honest people honest and nothing more. If somebody wants to get into your property, they're not going to pick the lock. They're going to probably smash the window. Simple fact. Like I've always thought that more people should put bars on their windows. Like, it's one of the easiest defenses against. Yeah, the double wrench method definitely does work. It's just, I'm not physically strong, but I can, you know. But like I said, you know, if I can do this to a master lock with no lock picks, just 2 tension wrenches, it's not a good lock. But that being said, I don't want to and so like, and so I will be the first one to say, most of the master locks you can buy at Lowe's or Home Depot are pretty doo-doo caca, and should be avoided. But there are a lot of master locks available not at Home Depot or Lowe's, but like online, for example, that are actually quite good. And just to give you an example of that, I have a personal, like a public storage or extra space storage unit of where I leave some of my extra stuff in the valley. And guess what? The lock that protects, yeah, exactly. Guess what? The lock that protects that storage unit, it's a master lock. Now, granted, it's not a Master Lock number 3, it's a Master Lock Pro Series, which is a fairly decent lock. But, and I'll be the first one to say, the Master Lock Pro Series are very good locks. Now, are they more expensive than the shitty ones you find at the comedy aisle of Home Depot? Yeah, exactly. You see, like, that's the thing. A lock is just part of a holistic security, of a holistic view of security. So it's great to have a good lock, but like I said, I could have a Medeco and a multi-lock and an unobtainium lock on my door. It doesn't matter if the window right next to it can be easily smashed with a rock pick. You know? And that's the same thing. Like, you could have great locks, bars on your windows. You know what else is really good? Security cameras, motion detectors, electric fences. You know, if you're in a secure facility, you want to have regular passes of security guards. Like, you know, you should never trust your own. Yeah, the rock pick. And also, and I mean, look, this depends on where you live. You know, part of your home security thing could very well be a cordless hole puncher. And you know, if it's legal in your region of the world, it's certainly an effective option to keep the scumbags away. You know, I'll be the first one to say, you don't even need to pew them with your cordless hole puncher. I cannot confirm this because I don't break and enter, but I've been told that the very sound of racking a shotgun is really enough to get a lot of turd burglars to leave. Because you hear, nobody wants to get shot with a bunch of bird shot. That's just getting perforated. So yeah, like, but by the way, this is not for me to say that you should just be like, oh, whatever, locks are all shit, so fuck it. Like, there are good locks that are not that expensive, and you should probably have a decent lock on your front door, and you should probably have, like, a decent padlock for your bike, if you bike, or whatever. Like, have decent locks for you know, but you don't need, but at the same time, you don't need to go the full lock-picking lawyer and put, you know, put $100 locks on every application. Like, you know, I don't have a permanent locker at my job, but if I did, I would not put, you know, one of my expensive, fancy, unpickable locks on that lock because I don't want it to be unpickable. I want, like, if I'm at a locker at work or at a gym, I want a lock that's just difficult enough to you know, to hold back the turd burglars, and probably with a high shackle guard so some asshole can't come by with bolt cutters and just go snip snip. You know, so something like this master lock, which is not, like I said, it's not unpickable, but it's difficult enough to stop the turd burglars. And it's got a high shackle guard that's going to make it a little more difficult to cut with a sawzall or something. This would be something that I would very, very, very quickly use as a gym locker lock. Because, like I said, it's, you know, or even something smaller and lighter, like this Abus 7240 would be a great gym locker lock. You know? Or, of course, if money is no option, you could go for the full schlag with the Primus key. But, like, this, if you want to buy it, is about $100, give or take. Conservatively speaking. More like 150. I did not pay that much. You know, you don't need to spend that much for a gym locker lock. Or even a storage unit lock, unless the storage unit is holding, like, some valuable shit, in which case you should probably get something better than a storage unit. Like, a safe deposit box, if you actually have valuable shit, seems to be the, thing. But yeah, getting back to what Jay said. Cheers, everyone, by the way. Oh, glad you do, CL5059. It's a Nexus puck. I bought it on the recommendation of Jolie Olive, Custom Grow 420, about 10 years ago. And yeah, like Dag said, I got a little Japanese kitty cat, Makeni Nico, as my carb cap. But yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I don't do hard drugs, but I don't have anything against people doing hard drugs. But my recommendation would be, don't videotape yourself doing hard drugs. I live in California. Weed is legal both recreationally and medically. I have no problem smoking weed on camera. Please don't do hard drugs on camera. Like, don't be an idiot. It should be obvious, but we all know that we live on the stupidest timeline possible, right? Nah, Kev, you were probably alone. I had the regular bus. Probably should have been on the short bus, but no, I was on the regular bus. I had the 40-footer. Any hard drug is anything worse than weed, basically. I'm not going to count the psychedelics as hard drugs. In my opinion, they're a little bit different. But anything that's got a super high addiction risk, then so cocaine and its variants, opiates like heroin, morphine, fentanyl, strong stimulants like methamphetamine. Stuff like that, I would call a hard drug. And also, like, while we're on the subject, also the very dangerous pharmaceuticals, because, I mean, a lot of today's heroin and fentanyl addicts right now started off as you know, big fans of OxyContin and Norco and that sort of dealy, because people were just giving out that shit like it was candy. The same thing, a lot of tweakers these days started off as like, oh, I'm a college kid trying to cram an essay, so I'm gonna take this freaking Adderall. Ketamine, I feel like, is kind of an interesting like in between thing, because like ketamine is also used like in clinics for like mental health purposes and whatever. So, but yeah, but I will say, as a drug of abuse, it can be very dangerous. I mean, it killed Amy Winehouse, for fuck's sake. All right. The locks need to be returned to their display. I really need to put a second one of these over there. I need to think of a theme for it. This one used to be, the theme of this used to be non-rekeyable master locks that are fun to pick. But now it's kind of fun orange and green belt locks, I guess. Alright, this 575 is not going back up there. Sorry, 575, you've been kicked the fuck out. There's another 575 here already. However, I'd like to welcome the 571 to the wall. 571 and 570. Short Kings unite. All right. Great success. Yeah, ketamine is very dependent on the dosage, but then, I mean, then again, you know, the same can be said for a lot of things, but like, you know. Elijah, I would make the theme Lockwood if I had any Lockwoods. I have 0 Lockwoods in my collection right now. The most Australian thing I have is I have 2 Australian Abus 83s. I need more down on the locks. For real, for real. And I hate these goddamn fucking tariffs. Fuck! But yeah, I'm thinking maybe... Oh, what's up, Ty? Right now... Oh, so... I was just replacing some of these padlocks that I have on this little lock wall because I was picking them. And then I was done with them, so I put them back. And I commented that it's kind of... I need a matching one over here for you know, wall symmetry. And so I was saying I should probably have a theme of some sort for the second one. And Elijah over here said theme Lockwood, but that would be impossible for me because Lockwood is an Australian company and I don't own any Lockwoods, unfortunately. And they can be rather expensive to bring them into. Baby blue. Yeah. Agreed, bucking up. I can't read your thing. One thing I wanted to do, Elijah, was laminated rekeyable master locks. Because I've got most of that thing done. And with like, there's one glaring hole in my in the collection, but like it's the yeah. It's the alright, thanks, bucking up tyrants. Yeah. Cause like, here, hold on. Ow! Ow! God damn it. Benny! Actually, yeah, let me take it off the tripod because we're not doing any more picking. We're just BSing for a few more minutes and then the stream is over. All right. Ow, ow, ow. All right. So yeah, I've got a 21, I've got a 25, I've got a 27, 28, 29, and 101. I'm missing the 24. Which is the hardest one. Well, it's Benny. Technically, the hardest one should be the 28, but I actually have 2 of them. I have this one and I have another one upstairs. This should be the rarest, but the actual one that's hardest to find is this one right here, the 24, because it's a brass 21. Oh, it's just long COVID symptoms, Ty. It's just stupid. So yeah, I was thinking I could do like a 21, then I'd maybe just put... Oh no! I just maybe just put the other 21 as like a holding position until I can finally find a 24. Like, because I've no lie been looking for a 24 for like donkey's years at this point. But they're just, they seem to be unobtainium. But yeah, so yeah, we have a 21, then I have another 21 to be the like placeholder. All right, Bucking, cool. Thank you, man. Yeah, so I have 21, and then another 21 is a placeholder. But 6 to 25, 27, 28, 29, and 101. And that would be right over there. I might change the core that's in the 29 because it happens to be an M heart. But yeah, Manny, what do you think? He's so amazed he has no thoughts. Benny. You know, I'm done with the COVID. It's just like, what's up, Brandon? Long time. Benny. All right, time to call the stream, y'all. I'm very tired. Benny says goodbye. The baby boy says goodbye. Boop says goodbye. And of course, Charlie says goodbye. Oh, wait, where's Baby Blue? Baby Blue has to say goodbye. I hear him. Ugh. Baby Blue says goodbye. Charlie. Okay.